During the Metal Age, due to the prosperity created by trade, the population of the village grew and they became towns. We are going to talk about the first cities in the world. These cities were small, but they were fortified. You can see some pictures of cities or towns from this period here in the Iberian Peninsula. For example, this picture is from Algar culture, seated in the area of the southeast of the Iberian Peninsula, like this one, for example, in Almeria, or this one, for example, in La Mancha. These cities are going to be very well fortified, with palisades, towers, and stone walls to be protected from the sacks. Sacking became a very common and frequent activity between different groups. So we are going to see the appearance of walls, towers, and fortified gates to avoid the sacks and the attacks. You can see, okay, different ways of protecting the cities. That's happened because war for controlling territory and the resources became more and more common. If you remember, we are talking about controlling the trade routes and controlling the metal. Metal is not a frequent element in nature. So the resources of metal, the natural sources of metal, that mean the mines, became very important. And controlling this mine were key to control the metallurgy and the trade, so to control the richness. So the war became more frequent and common, and you can see, for example, some of these sources that explain us why or how war became important. This is a mass grave. This is the result of a battle. Dead people because of a battle all together buried in the same place. And some of these people have clearly injuries produced by weapons like this one or this one. And we are going to see that the art is going to represent male warriors with swords, bows, shields, and different weapons that explain us that the chieftain and the warriors became one of the most important people in this time. But the war, the fortified towns, and the growing of the village were not the only changes. Jobs became more and more complex. Metallurgy, for example, the metal work, is a very complicated job. That means that only special people with the special training could do it. That is going to happen with the rest of the jobs. So at the end, we are going to see a division of labor. That means in Spanish, división del trabajo, and means that now some people are going to be trained for doing a specific job, not for all the jobs. Before the Metal Age, during Neolithic, for example, people were able to do almost every work, almost every task. For example, if you need a pot, you made a pot at home. If you need a tool, you can nap or polish your stone and make a tool in your home. The same with the food or with almost everything. Now we are going to see that some people, they are going to be dedicated to a specific job. For example, we are going to see people that only works with metal. Other people are going to be specialized in pottery, for example. This is because craftsmanship artesanía, became more important and complex because of the trade. People wanted very good products, very good quality products, and the specialization is important now. If we talk about society, we are going to see, for example, that something changed too. If you remember, I told you that during Neolithic, almost all the people were the same. That means that we talk about an equal society. This equal society now ends. We are going to talk now about social differences. These social differences allow us to talk about a hierarchical society. Hierarchical is a word that means in Spanish jerárquico and means that the society was organized with some people on the top with more power and richness and some people on the bottom. So this social difference, we can find it in the funerary remains, that means in the burials. Now the grey goods became one of the most important tools or evidence to distinguish between powerful and rich people and the rest of the people. If you can see the pictures, for example, this is a tomb, is a grave with a huge amount of grave goods here, with a lot of pieces of metal. This is vessels of metal, weapons, a war cart, a war chariot, a bed made in metal with several pieces of jewelry, like a chamber inside the earth. These kind of tombs speak or talk about an elite. This elite, this group of people, very small group of people with power, are going to be the male warriors. The male warriors that became very important because the war is one of the most important activities for surviving. So now we are going to see some families with a lot of richness that control and have the power of the community, that they are going to be buried with a lot of different objects that anyone can have, only them. In these families, usually a warrior male is going to be, a man is going to be the chieftain and is going to become almost a king. We can't speak about kings, but we can speak about people with a lot of power and richness that control and took the decisions.